Here we go.
The Florida Podcast Network, the voice of Florida.
Good morning and welcome to Beach Talk Radio. What episode is it, dear?
It is episode number 43. And
Get out.
It's always okay once in a while for you to start things, so don't make it look like it's such a surprise.
I didn't
okay?
make it look like a surprise
You're
at all.
like, good morning. You have to have some energy when you're on the radio.
No, you have enough for both of us.
Welcome to Beach Talk Radio, everybody. My name is Ed Ryan, along with Kim Ryan, the co-host of Beach Talk Radio. This is episode number 43. We are live from Peach Timeout on Fort Myers Beach, and we want to say a special hello to everybody listening on the Florida Podcasting Network. This is our second week on the Florida Podcast Network, and that's going to be an awesome thing, I think.
Is it podcast or podcasting network?
It's probably podcast.
Yeah.
Did I say podcasting?
You did, but that's all right. We're used to your mispronunciations.
Things are really picking up on the beach here, wife.
They sure are.
The
traffic's already building up.
Traffic is building up. The Shrimp Festival is coming up. Spring break is coming up.
Spring break is now.
The baseball games are in full effect, so everything is happening now on the beach. We live between the beach traffic and all the games.
And the other side of
the game. So last week, going to the awesome event they had at the Women's Club, the high rolling on the beach, we got the traffic coming out of the Red Sox game, the traffic going into the Twins game, and then the regular bridge traffic. And
we got it twice that day. We got it in the morning coming home from here and on the way back. So we have to get a helicopter. That's what I've decided.
Right. But it is 80 degrees already, and it's 9 o'clock in the morning, so there's no complaining.
But it feels fantastic.
Yes, It's so nice. Peach Timeout already has a line, and we have a great show lined up. We have Charlie Whitehead coming up. Did I say...
in the second half.
Right, in the second half of the show. He's going to come up at 9:30. We're going to talk about politics, of course, and some other things going on the beach. He's been covering things on the beach and in Fort Myers area for a long time. But right now, it's segment number 1 with Kimberly. And by the way, we have other stuff to talk about.
Name?
At the end of the show, your mom's coming down.
Yes.
We have to talk about the event that we went to. I'm going to a podcasting convention this coming week that you bailed out on.
Yes. I have to work. Real job.
There's also a podcast that I started listening to that I'm so addicted to. It's worse than Netflix that we're going to talk about toward the end of the show.
You don't want to give a little teaser?
It's called Crime Town. And it involves organized crime and other things.
Nice.
So that's coming up later on. We'll chat about that. But right now, let's turn it over to the wife.
All right.
Who's got a special guest
today.
about a special
Fran
event.
Peters from the Lions Club, and you're going to talk to us about the Shrimp Festival coming up. Is that correct?
I am.
All right. Well, tell us a little bit about the history of the Shrimp Festival. Let's start with that.
This is our 61st year. Wow. Yep, wow. And we started with a little parade down Fort Myers Beach from the beach school and had a flatbed truck and a drummer and a couple of bicycle riders from the beach school, and that was the first parade. This year we will have probably over 75 entries. The Clydesdales will be in the parade this year. Wow. We have a band from Florida Gulf Coast University coming. It will be wonderful. The whole idea is to bring the crowd down here to Lynn Hall Park where we have our expo, and the Lions will cook shrimp and sell shrimp, and we'll have a princess pageant, a shrimp eating contest. Lots of fun activities.
You have the 5K run, right?
5K run is, I don't believe it's sponsored by the Lions Club, but the 5K run is just before the parade.
Parade starts.
Right.
All right. And so 61 years. Now, who was the impetus for the parade?
Who would have thought of that?
I don't know. It was a great idea.
It was a great idea. My father, Pete McCagg, thought that after the Edison Pageant of Light Parade, that it would be a good idea to bring some of those people down to Fort Myers Beach. And he thought that if we could have some sort of an activity and bring the crowd down, we tagged on with the Episcopal Church with their blessing of the shrimp fleet, and the festival was born for Saturdays. They served chicken for the first few years until, there are all my princesses going by. Oh, how fun.
Yeah.
So they sold fried chicken, and someone said, why are you calling it a shrimp festival and selling chicken? So Larry Schaefer, who is not with us any longer, said, why don't we sell shrimp? And we now sell shrimp. So,
Well, I can attest to how good that shrimp is, because we've been down a couple of years, and it is fantastic.
well, the Lions actually dig a hole in the sand, and they cook fresh shrimp right there, peel and eat, and it is it's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. You can't get it any fresher, and it all supports the Fort Myers Beach Lions Club, which is wonderful. We'll make about $65,000 in one weekend, and all of the monies go back to help the Fort Myers Beach, eyesight, cancer, children's cancer. We have a number of projects that we support, so all of the monies go back. We are a nonprofit, so we hope everyone will come down and support the Lions.
Yes, and so the dates are March 9th and 10th.
March 9th and 10th.
Which is right around the corner.
Next Saturday, the parade is at 10. The bridge does close from 9 to noon, and the parade starts at 10. The princess pageant is at 1. We sell T-shirts all day long in the expo. Shrimp is sold all day long, and we sell shrimp and T-shirts all day Sunday. And the shrimp eating contest is at 1 o'clock on Sunday.
That sounds like fun. Now, how long has that been going on?
So the shrimp eating contest, this is interesting. I think my daughter got a little bug in her and said, let's do something fun on Sunday.
Right.
And decided that I think we started with 3 minutes, and this year we have 10 eaters, and they will have whoever can eat 3 pounds or 8 minutes. Last year's winner ate 2.6 pounds in the 8 minutes.
Wow.
And it's a fun thing to watch. The shrimp are already peeled.
They're already
peeled.
Okay.
They have water and hot sauce only. And they put that shrimp in their mouth so fast and swallow as fast as they can so they can say they are the shrimp eating contest king or queen.
And is there a prize associated, or is
you
it
get
just
your name
bragging
you
rights?
get your name on a trophy. I think that's about it.
Hey, trophies. Now, speaking of trophies, there are trophies given out in different divisions for the parade. Is that correct?
The parade will have different divisions. The princesses have trophies, and there may be, I don't know if there's a plaque or a trophy for the shrimp eating contest or not, but it really is all just to support the Lions Club and to support our community.
Now, we just saw a bunch of the princesses
The princesses.
go by. So how many are there? How does
that
work?
We have 8 beautiful girls. They're between the ages of 16 and 21. And they were judged on Miss Personality this past Thursday. They've already been voted on for Miss Photogenic, and we'll have judges the day of the pageant, which is 1 o'clock at Lynn Hall Park, close to where the bathrooms are.
Okay. And so there's going to be vendors at the
lots
of
vendors, lots of food. The only thing the park does not allow alcohol, so people want to come and partake of that. They can come to Pete's Time Out, and otherwise they can come and have some wonderful shrimp and watch the princesses on Saturday and watch the shrimp eaters on Sunday.
So I do have a question.
Okay.
I saw the princesses walk. I wasn't looking at them, dear. I saw them walk by.
Aren't they beautiful?
The mayor was leading the group. Did
How
you notice
about that? The mayor, Tracy Gore, is our master of ceremonies this year, and she has been a great help for us, and was taking the girls down for a practice walk this morning. They just were helping with the kids walk, the kids run that happened this morning at 9 o'clock. I think you talked to Liam Farrell last week, perhaps. Mm-hmm. And the kids run was this morning, and the princesses were there to help all the small children, and they're now walking up to close to where the pageant will be to practice how to wave and how to walk. It's a lot of fun.
And do those princesses come from all over Lee County or all over everywhere?
We put our feelers out a couple of months ahead of time and ask for 16 to 21-year-olds. Okay. We have a number of wonderful sponsors, and we have one gal from Naples, but she knows someone here on Fort Myers Beach. Semmer Electric, the Property Medic are sponsors. We have some girls who are here from the beach. Miss Red Coconut is a local gal, and then there are a couple from Cypress Lake High School, So they're from the area, and they get a local sponsor. They're excited to ride in a Corvette in the parade.
Yeah.
Wave to the crowd.
And then they get trophies as well?
They will have trophies. They have gift bags. The Queen will have a scholarship.
Nice.
We help them out as best we can. It's a fun day.
So do you think they'll be coming back down this way?
Are you
before,
waiting? You're
before
waiting
10
for them,
o'clock?
right?
I'm not waiting for the princesses. I didn't know the mayor was going to be close to the show, is all I'm saying.
Well,
I tried to wave her over to come on.
Yeah, they're busy.
She's busy today.
I think I'm going to go join them as soon as
Okay.
I finish this, and
Awesome.
I will tell them about you.
Thank
and
you.
maybe she'll stop in on her way back.
That would be nice.
Okay.
And so the festival runs from 10 to 6 both days?
I think the vendors are here starting probably from 9.
Okay. So they'd
and
be open at 9.
by 5 they're tired and starting to close down. But I think officially it is until 6 on Saturday and until 5 on Friday. On Sunday.
And so this is the Lions Club.
Fort Myers
Beach.
Beach Lions Club started it all, and it all benefits the Fort Myers Beach Lions Club.
Tell us a little bit about the Lions Club.
Well,
because
I am a lion.
You are a lion, and there's 3 generations in your
My
family.
father is a lion, Pete McCagg, and my daughter Shelby is a lion as well. And there aren't many 3-generation lions, but we're the largest service organization in the world. And Little Fort Myers Beach Club has been around for about 65 years, I think,
Okay.
65. And we work hard. It started with... people sneaking in.
Yes, right, photobomb.
Our home office is in Oak Brook, Illinois, and Helen Keller challenged a group of men over 100 years ago to become Knights of the Blind, and it started with helping people who needed eyesight care and who were blind. And we have grown from that, and we have a lot of causes now, and it's a great organization.
And if people want to become a lion...
We will be selling T-shirts and have lots of brochures about the Lions, and we would welcome anyone who wants to put a little blood, sweat, and tears into the Fort Myers Beach and help us with the pageant or the parade or the selling shrimp
oil.
or T-shirts or shrimp eating. A lot of fun things. So they could come and help us, and we will have lots of information at the T-shirt booth.
Okay.
Okay.
And so, to recap, the festival is this Friday and Saturday. This Saturday and Sunday.
Right, the 9th and the 10th.
9 to
5 or 6, and most importantly, the bridge closes on Saturday.
So people
need to come early. Maybe they could come and have breakfast at Pete's Time Out. And
beautiful. and it's free. That part is free. The festival is free. You have to pay for parking, but
pay for parking, and you have to pay for the T-shirt that you're going to buy from the Lions Club, and pay for your shrimp.
And the
Other
shrimp
than that,
is $15. Is that
$15,
correct?
and it's a peel and eat. They get half a pound, and
it's
a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and
it's delicious.
Before John freaks out, breakfast is not free, dear.
The parade is
Breakfast
free.
at Pete's is not free.
The parade is free.
So people should also take advantage of the new lot that they built on the where is that road by the Goodwill or the what's that called over there?
Oh, where the trolley is?
With the trolley
yeah,
comes.
the trolley parks.
They could come down by trolley too, but if they don't get a head start and get down here, it will be difficult. The traffic does back up probably all the way to Summerlin, so if you're not down here by 8, it gets kind of hard. One year, our Queen didn't make the parade.
No way.
She didn't get over the bridge. The fire trucks had to help get her over and to the beginning.
False alarm. That was a false alarm. What year was that? I need to look
That was
back.
a long time ago.
So, note to everybody:
Come early.
and
Yes.
stay late.
Yes, eat shrimp.
Well, thank you so much for having us on.
Thank
We
you
really
for helping to
appreciate it.
support the Lions of Fort Myers Beach.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
We appreciate it.
Yeah,
And we will see you next week.
We'll see you next weekend.
For sure.
Great.
We'll see you next week. Thanks a lot,
Thank
Fran.
you.
Thank you.
All right. Fran Peters is from the it's from the
Fort
she's
Myers
not from the
Beach
Lions
Club.
Club, right? Or
She
you're from the
is.
Lions Club. I wanted to say from the Shrimp Festival, but I guess
Well,
it's
they put it on.
It's a whole thing there. So awesome. So that's next. This place is going to be packed on that weekend. It's already packed now, but
it is.
So we're going to be doing the 9 o'clock show here, and then a show after that from the Sea Gypsy with the folks down there, and just in time for the parade. Now the run is 9 o'clock, right? So that's first. So the parade. So we'll be right on the main drag there.
So you have to finish in an hour so that they can get the parade going.
Don't look at me again about the race, about last year's race. I finished in good time for an old fat fart.
I'm just kidding.
So, yeah, do you need to finish in an hour? Is that I mean, I saw some people laboring over the bridge last year.
I don't know. I just know that, that the parade is going to start at 10.
Are you feeling okay today? You're not as exuberant as usual. What's the story?
I'm fine.
So last weekend, you come down to the show without your shirt, and I am totally organized. I get my stuff
I
together.
had my shirt. I had the tank top on.
Well, you didn't. That's not the right shirt for you,
Well,
though.
whatever.
Oh, were you testing out the tank top?
Yes.
By the way, speaking of that, we have all kinds of swag here today. We have hats for 15. We have shirts for 12. We have tank tops for 10, and we have mice pads for 5.
Now, I did forget my hat this week.
That's all right. You have lovely hair, dear. Just a
Thanks
pretty
to
face
Jean.
and lovely hair.
Oh.
Yes.
Great.
So this coming week is Election Day. Tuesday is Election Day, folks. The most important election of the year for you is coming up on Tuesday. You're going to get your opportunity to elect 2 new council members or 1 current council member and 1 new member because Mayor Gore decided not to run, and Dennis Boback is up for re-election, and he is running. So please get out and vote on Tuesday.
Right.
And you have 4 candidates. What we tried to do at the last minute, and didn't work out because everybody's knocking on doors. We tried to do, I didn't even tell you this, I was going to do 15 minutes each with each candidate, but I wanted it to be fair. It didn't work out because Rexanne's actually a little under the weather. And
oh, dear.
Yeah, and everyone else is knocking on doors or has commitments. So we'll talk more about the election.
They don't have time for you.
No. I think they're done with me. Well, once they get elected, they're done with us. They're not going to be talking to us anymore. So anyway, on to our next guest, dear,
Okay.
and you'll be back later in the show. Do some hobnobbing out there. Make sure you say hi to Jim and Judy and everybody. Right now, folks, this is going to be a name that I'm sure you're well aware of. Charlie Whitehead is joining us, and we're going to talk more about the election now and some other stuff. Charlie is let him explain it. Charlie, get nice and close to the microphone there. And you are a longtime resident of Fort Myers, right?
I am. I moved here in '85. The first story I covered was the Lee County budget. My brand new editor handed me a notebook and a pen and said, go find out what's going on.
The Lee County budget, 1985. It was probably a few dollars less than it is right now.
Plenty of dollars back then, and, of course, more dollars now.
Yeah. And then what paper was that for?
I worked for the Beach Bulletin when I first moved here. In the 80s, the Beach Bulletin was the newspaper, and the Observer was the shopper. The Breeze Corporation swapped that around shortly thereafter.
Got it. And you went on to work for the Naples Daily News?
Yeah, I went to the Bonita Banner in the late '80s, and within 6 months or so, they kicked me upstairs to the Naples Daily News. I was their Lee County guy for 20-some years.
So I'm in the radio business, kind of, sort of, and that's kind of stagnant. But the newspaper business is taking it on the chops, man. They're really in the crapper. What the hell happened?
My own belief was that the newspaper industry would have fared much better had they not tried to become Facebook Junior.
Right.
I think they should have clung tenaciously to what they were good at, which was in-depth coverage that you can't get in other venues.
Right, and I think the other thing, too, is classifieds went online, and that really was the bread and butter for the newspapers back then.
True enough. I do not pretend to understand the business end of the industry. I've always been in the news gathering and news reporting end, and frankly, I'm not much interested in the business end.
Gotcha. So before we start talking about the politics, let's talk about the Civic Association. That there was a meeting that you guys held. You're the chairman of the Fort Myers Beach Civic Association.
It's the Beach Area Civic Association. A couple of us, or several of us, created it a few years back. I believe my own belief was that people need to know more things and need to have a better grounding in the issues that their local governments are facing. And not to be critical of local media outlets or anything, but I didn't see that job being done very well. And I thought that an organization devoted to the education of the public would be a good thing.
And so are you able to get the word out?
Oh, we've done some things. I tell you, the truth is I'm coming off of a sabbatical that I took from the organization simply because I had to take care of some of my own things. My own house was still broken from Hurricane Irma, and I needed to devote time to that. But yes, we held a public information forum specific to the TPI project. It got the hoteliers and the supporters in the same room, and they were able to go back and forth a little bit. I like to think that we've contributed some.
So you meet once a month?
Typically. Again, we had a several-month break there, but typically we try to get together once a month. We have a meeting scheduled for March 19th. And the timing of that is specifically, well, it's intentional because the county is holding a workshop on the San Carlos Island Community Plan on March 20th.
Okay.
So we want to meet and discuss that and make sure that some of the folks that are going to the workshop on the 20th are intimately familiar with the details before they walk in.
So, Charlie, what's your take on the TPI thing? How it went down?
Well, it depends on whether you're asking about the TPI thing now. Okay. Now, I think it's way more palatable for most people on the beach because it is much smaller and much less impactful, if you will, than what was originally proposed.
Right.
I think Tom Torgerson has done a good job of trying to be a good neighbor. Of course, we all have our own opinions as to whether he's been successful or not.
Do you think he has been?
I think that by and large he has been. I give him credit for the effort. I will point out that one of our early civic association meetings, our doors are open to everybody, but we had specifically invited some of the TPI folks, and when they walked in, and I, being a big friendly guy, walked up to them and shook their hand, smiled at them. You're welcome here. Thanks for coming. We had a half a dozen or so folks stand up and leave. Now, I don't think we drive towards solving issues when we refuse to discuss them with each other.
Okay. What do you think of the lawsuit?
Well, it's interesting to me. I was sort of a land use geek during my reporting days. And, when a citizen disagrees with the elected official's interpretation of the land use rules, that's basically the only avenue open to them. You can lobby your elected officials beforehand, but once they make that call, you've lost your ability to affect it other than hiring a lawyer.
Mm-hmm. Well, you don't believe that it's a local resident behind it, do you? Come on.
A local resident? I know that it's a local resident that filed it. I know the attorney that is working for them, and he is the kind of guy that he takes on the quixotic, if you will, land use challenges. I've seen him lose a number of them simply because he took them. Is he taking it on
for the Pattons, or is he taking it on for the Condieras crew?
I don't know. I haven't talked to Mr. C for a long, long time.
Yeah.
He's always been a guy that would work behind the scenes and help people toward what he would like to see done, and that's not that doesn't put him on a short list in today's Fort Myers Beach community.
Well, there's no doubt it's going to be built, right?
I think it's going to be built. I think that there's too much money invested. They're not going to walk away from it, number one. And number two, there are certain rights that come with being the owner of the property. There were things on those properties beforehand. And at minimum, they can be rebuilt. I mean, that's the theory anyway. It's land use law is, of course, way more complicated than that.
Well, nobody can love what it looks like now.
No, I agree with that. Nobody's in love with what we have there now.
Right. All right, so let's talk about what's coming up on Tuesday. I know you're not going to endorse anybody, and that's all cool. We have 4 candidates running for 2 spots. The mayor decided she's not going to run again. Mr. Boback decided he is. What are his chances?
I don't know. I frankly don't think that Dennis – I think that the recent activities by PACs and folks have increased his chances to be reelected.
You know, I actually agree with that. I think that I was listening. I'm going to talk about this with my wife later. I'm listening to this new podcast called Crime Town, and it's all about Detroit, the city of Detroit, and there's the corruption that – I'm not saying they're corrupt here. I'm just going to get to a point. But the corruption that was going on in Detroit is what the podcast is about. But one of the things was that when Kwame Kilpatrick ran for a re-election, he ran a wicked negative campaign, and it caught everybody's attention. And the consultant said that people say that they don't like negative advertising. People say that, but they really do. And so – you have to wonder if that's just at that level or if it trickles down to, I mean, it's pretty much nonpartisan here on the beach. So when I saw those mailers and posted it on our Facebook page, I don't think people at this local level appreciated it.
I agree with that. And you're right. Everybody says they hate negative advertising, but every political consultant out there specializes in it. And they all make a lot of money, and they all get their people elected by running negative ads. Now, I admit that I'm proud of my little community right now because they spat out the PAC. They rejected the negative advertising, and my understanding is that the PAC actually has been dissolved.
Right. Yeah, John Gucciardo mentioned that at your meeting, correct?
Right, that's correct.
So I think that people that were going to vote for Dan or Rexanne or Ray, when they see that, I don't think they're switching teams. They're not switching teams. I mean, I think the only thing, correct me if I'm wrong, that might happen is if somebody gets that in the mail and they weren't going to vote, maybe it riles some more people up to vote. You're really not going to switch people's minds. They either think Dennis did right by this community or they think that meeting at the Whale that night doomed him.
You know, I would agree with that on some levels. I don't think, negative advertising impacts people who don't really know the candidates otherwise. I've always urged people to, especially in a race like this, these people are not hard to find. They're not hard to get a hold of.
Right.
Pick up your phone, call them.
Right.
Send them an email, ask them questions, and vote for the one that agrees with the things that you want to see happen. All too often, the folks that swing an election are the ones that don't really know what's going on, and they see a pretty TV commercial or they see a damning ad, and that drives their decision-making.
Do you think Dennis has a good chance of being reelected or an average chance? Or, what do you know, or how do you believe he's done these last few years?
Well, I understand that to a lot of the public, the conversation at the Beached Whale, which I understand is now the Whale and not the Beached Whale.
Okay, I get that confused myself.
Anyway, there are people that thought that was a big deal. Frankly, I've been watching the government operate around here for a long time, and I think there are I have had other issues on which I disagreed with Dennis that I thought were more impactful.
No kidding.
I don't think that the town. Well, philosophically, when you talk about bare bones government light, the other end of that is bad services or lack of services. Now, I understand that the people that pay the taxes to the town of Fort Myers Beach don't want their taxes to go up. I get that, but there are certain things that our government should do. And I'm not sure that the town of Fort Myers Beach is doing them to the extent I'd like to see them done.
Like what? I mean, what else can be done here? I've never heard anybody complain about the services, but I also don't live on the beach. So,
well, I've been involved, as you know, with the Bay Oaks Rec Center from before the time it was born. It was built back in the late '80s, and I raised my kids there. A lot of beach kids have been raised there. I don't think that the town appropriately funds it. I don't think that they do enough things that should be done there.
What's the budget now?
I can't tell you specifically what the budget is. I know that last year and the year before, some of us went to the folks at the town and said, you're not appropriately funding Bay Oaks. We want more money in there. And the response is always, well, the poor taxpayers of Fort Myers Beach are already paying for a lot, and it's true, they are.
Well, what else does Bay Oaks need? It sounds like it's got a lot of things for the community.
It does. A lot of the things that take place there, I'm headed there from here. I'm umpiring for Little League opening day today. But that is a volunteer organization that does all of its own stuff.
You ever throw a kid out of the game?
Oh, yeah.
What does it take to get a kid thrown out of a Little League game here on the beach? They got to get lippy?
Well, you and I are of the generation that we remember Groucho Marx, and when you
I don't remember him. Wait a
well,
second.
when you say the magic word, you win a prize.
I got you.
Sometimes that prize is an early trip home.
Right.
Typically, I've been umpiring for 45 years, and you could count the ejections that I've made on either hand.
Did anyone ever tell you have a radio voice? Much
yes.
better than mine.
I've done a little bit of this before.
Yeah.
And it's
you can make a living at it, man.
Forget
that civic association
You
stuff.
can't make a comfortable living at it.
No, radio people don't make a
comfortable
comfortable living.
You can turn it into a revenue stream, but it's
That's
not going
right.
to make you rich. And
1 of 4 or 5.
Right.
Did you make a good living at the paper? What was your highest salary at the paper?
Did I make a good living at the paper?
Yeah.
Well, you know how when you're working for the corporation, once a year they send you out that
Christmas
report
bonus?
that says that says this is how much you made and this is how much your benefits were worth and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That number went into the 60s a time or two.
Nice. Look at
figured
you.
All your salary plus all your benefits plus your insurance plus your retirement.
So you're making 25.
Well, the newspaper reporters are not typically paid very much.
That's right. So we talked about Dennis, and we all agree at this point, whether or not it has to do with the mailer, that Dennis has a fair shot. No matter what happened down the street at the beached whale or blue whale or the drowned whale or whatever the hell it's called today, that probably did more damage to the mayor than it did to Dennis, because he didn't say a whole lot, just like a council meeting where he doesn't say a whole lot. But from what I understand, he does do stuff behind the scenes. He doesn't do a lot of talking at the council meetings. It appeared to me that, you correct me if I'm wrong, it looked as if you listen to the tapes, that it probably might have damaged the mayor a little more than Dennis.
Well, I think that, when Tracy says that I've got things going on in my personal life that I need to take care of, I believe her. I know her family and her kids, and they're at that stage in life where she wants to spend more time with them.
Right, no, I don't mean that. No, I believe that, too. I don't mean that. I mean during that meeting, though, up there.
Yeah, you know what? Tracy wears her heart on her sleeve.
For sure, no doubt.
Dennis, as you said, Dennis
Quiet.
is more... Dennis is more like the swimming duck, where
So,
you don't see what he's doing.
Did he? What was that whole bicycle thing where he was riding his bike or something, and somebody almost hit him, or somebody? Remember that thing that was did that actually happen? Where he's telling somebody to flip off or something, or yelling at somebody, or he was in his car. He was in his car. He almost ran over a bicycle person, or
I got to tell you, Ed. I heard. I know what you know. I've heard that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
And he said, well, my windows were closed, so how could I even be yelling at anybody? How could they hear me yelling at him? It might have been somebody that just didn't like
I've been known to mutter under my breath to the occasional driver.
Do you think you'll ever run for election?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I did run. I ran for a Lee County Commission seat
several
years ago. I think I would have been a really good county commissioner, but I was a lousy candidate.
Why is that? You didn't knock on doors?
Well, I suck at raising money.
Yeah.
It took me forever to get used to asking for money for Little League, let alone asking for money for myself.
Listen, if I ran for county commissioner, I wouldn't even need to raise money. They just look at me and say, "You're in, man. You're in." Well, speaking of that, I don't mean to take a little side street here, but you hear Kevin Rowan announce he's running for county commissioner.
I did. I spoke to Kevin. Made an abortive run a few years ago when I was still working as a journalist, and I interviewed him at that time, and I really like the work that Kevin's done. On
been out front on the water. Yeah.
I will say that one of the things that Kevin told me he was a big believer in is the concept of what the trickle-down economics.
Yeah.
Which I am not a large believer in personally. But if he will tell you what he thinks.
For sure.
And he will give you something to make your mind up on.
And he's going to tell you all what he thinks next week because he's going to be on the show at 9:30 next week.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Like I said, I like Kevin. I like the work he's done. I think he tries to do what he thinks is best, and that's the minimum bar I have for elected officials. You don't have to do what I want, because sometimes what I think is best is different than what you think is best.
And that some bitch can pick up a pickup truck. Did you ever see the size of him?
Who, Kevin?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm a
big lad, but he's a big lad
yeah.
too.
All right, so he's going to be on next Saturday. So, okay, I didn't lose my place here. So back to the race coming up on Tuesday.
Sure.
Dan Allers, hasn't really run for election or won any elections. He's on one of the boards, right? What's the name of that board he's on? There's so many boards this town has. I can't keep track. So I don't think it's Crab.
Community Resources.
Something else.
Oh, it's like the Waterways Advisory
No,
Board.
that's not it. He might be on that thing too, but something else.
I don't know.
Anyway, he's really out there. You see Dan out a lot. You see him knocking on doors. He wears flamingo things at the parties. I mean, he's not afraid to get out there and mingle with
And I like Dan. I called Dan out in a Little League game one time.
You threw him out?
No, I called him out.
Oh, you called him out?
Yes, I never had I never had reason to throw Dan out. But,
what do you mean you called him out? What was he doing playing Little League with the kids?
He was a kid.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
How old are you now?
Old enough.
No, really? How old are you?
How old am I? I'm 61.
Oh, wow. How old is Dan? Maybe he's too young to win election.
I don't know how old Dan is. I know he's young. I've been umpiring on Fort Myers Beach since the 80s. So
he doesn't call you grandpa or anything like that, does he?
Not to my face.
So I think Dan's been out there knocking on doors. He's got a fair shot to win. Or even if he doesn't win, he's set some nice groundwork for next year.
I tell you, I like Dan. I like to see local kids grow into the government. I liked seeing Summer Stockton on the board just for that reason. She was raised at Bay Oaks.
Yeah.
She's a local kid.
Yeah.
There were, and there's something to be said for that.
Yeah. Well, Rexanne, former council member, she's smart.
Lady.
Yeah, she, if we were handicapping the race now, the wife and I think that Rexanne's probably in the lead.
You may be right. People remember Rexanne. People remember Ray as well.
Yeah.
Ray has been around for a long, long time. People think highly of him. I think highly of our candidates. I think we've got good choices. I mean, I don't vote on the beach, as you know, but I think there are good choices to choose from.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised at any of the four winning. I mean, it's not like, you can say this candidate's going to be running away with the race. I think it's going to come down to the people that don't really pay attention to politics, like the rest of us. I mean, you start going to some of these meetings and you see the same faces, so you know the people that are really into it.
Right.
And then, even we got a call, and we don't even live on the beach, about what do you think of this, what do you think of that, and so we give them our opinion. But, I think it's going to come down to the people that don't know what's going on because they're busy running their lives or doing other things. They're not paying attention to politics, and they're going to go in, and some of them are going to vote alphabetically, Charlie.
Typically, I think you're right, Ed, and I think typically that happens from the top on down.
Yeah.
Though elections are swung by people who aren't really in the know, who see a commercial they like,
right,
or they see the R next to the name, or they see the D next to the name, and that's how Dad voted, so they vote that way. And yes, statisticians have shown that being first on the ballot gives you an alphabetical advantage.
So do they do it alphabetical by first name or last name?
Last name.
All right, so Dan is going to be first on the list.
That's correct.
Don't be surprised, Dan, if you win just because your name was first.
Well,
just kidding.
There's something to be said there. I have seen candidates. There have been candidates at the Lee County level who began to hyphenate their names right before the election.
Is that right? That's cheating.
It affected their – well, there was a candidate way back in history who began to hyphenate because it gave her a Hispanic-sounding surname. She was trying to appeal on that basis, and people play political games.
Yeah. What is the biggest issue facing the beach right now, in your opinion? Water aside. It's always going to be about the water.
It's always about the water. You're right. Now, development and redevelopment, I think.
It's like people. You got a faction of people that want to keep it a small town. It's my
Right.
town, and then you have this. The beach is going to grow. People want to come to Fort Myers Beach, and if they want to come to the beach, you got to give them a place to stay. You got to give them places to eat.
That's all true.
So
The,
what's the right answer there, Charlie?
Well, the right answer is, and it's not the sexy answer, but the right answer is compromise. It always is. We've got folks that are in the business of taking out the little old houses and putting in big shiny new houses.
Yeah.
We got folks that on a certain basis, that's a 1-for-1 swap out.
Yeah.
It kind of rubs me the wrong way, and I'm not telling any secrets there. I've had conversations with those folks before. They know that. It's always been a planning rule that you don't add population in hurricane vulnerable areas. You don't build new homes where the hurricane might blow them away.
Yeah.
It's unwise to suck populations into that area during the hurricane season. But then again, like you say, people are going to come.
Yeah. Yeah.
People are coming here. They want places to live. They want places to stay.
Speaking of that, next couple of weeks is like this is where the money's made down here on the beach. You got the Shrimp Festival, you got spring break, you got all the Northerners down here. We were just chatting. I was just chatting with somebody. Maybe if they moved like the Shrimp Festival a couple weeks earlier or something like that, just to separate some of the crowd because it gets crazy down here during that one time. And you get these Cincinnati firemen. What's that all about? Will these guys come down there in their thongs or something and start dancing on the beach? What's that about?
The short answer to that is yes.
Is that right?
They are quite the draw. They bring in a lot of people, and they put on their booty shaking contest.
Well, they all
people
fit.
Eat it up.
They all fit, or there's got to be a couple of fatties in that group. No.
Well,
no.
When the local fire district makes the firefighter calendar, some of them appear in it and some of them do not.
Well, my wife's not coming to the beach next weekend. Is that when that whole thing is?
I don't really know.
I'm not going over there either.
The truth is, I don't attend the spring break events like I used to.
Gotcha. Gets crazy down here, huh?
It does. And I'll be on the beach because Little League season starts today, and there will be games, and I'll be down here rumping them.
How many kids are in the Little League?
This year, we typically get 110 or so kids.
Nice.
We're
Very
not,
nice.
Frankly, we don't have the demographics that give us a 500-kid league.
Yeah, but that keeps it nice. It keeps it nice. Everybody knows each other, right?
Well, yeah, everybody does know each other. Frankly, there are kids. We have coaches now that were kids in the league, and they remember me as an umpire back then. And some of them are probably getting tired of hearing my voice.
So I used to run a flag football league out in Gateway, and the kids were so great. The kids were great. Yeah. It's the parents that are the worst. Not every parent, but if there's ever an issue, it always seems like the parents think their kids are going to grow up and be in the major leagues, and so. Do you ever get any? I'm sure the beach is different. You never get that. The parents are perfect.
Oh, you get that. You get that occasionally. We've had kids.
Behave is what you need to do.
Well,
the kids are watching you.
We try to remind the parents of their appropriate role in the process. And
plus, they're trying to
really
live through their kids because they're old athletes now. They're playing softball. You play softball?
I don't. I don't get around very well anymore. My knees are shot.
Yeah.
So,
but you used to be an athlete when you were a kid?
I played basketball and football in college.
Yeah. What are you, 6'4"?
I used to be.
Yeah.
I think I'm starting to settle.
Well, Charlie, anything else you want to add, man? This is great fun. We should have you on more often. A killer voice there.
It ain't hard to get me talking, Ed.
Yeah.
I'm, go down. Oh, sorry, I did it again. Go down to the Little League field. Watch the kids. Yeah. Spend money at the concession stand.
We need to do a show from the Little League field. I'm sure Shannon would love that, dear.
I completely agree. We every Saturday morning we have games.
Nice. So, awesome. Down at Bay Oaks, right behind Bay Oaks there.
Right there at Bay Oaks. Like I say, get yourself down there. Support your local kids.
Awesome.
You can come down there and yell at the umpires if you want.
Nah.
We got thick skins.
All right, Charlie. Thanks so much for coming on, man. We really appreciate it. Time flies by when we're chatting about local politics, and Well, I guess we'll see what happens Tuesday, right?
I guess we will, Ed. What I've always wanted is for the turnout to be high, way high, and I'm always disappointed.
For sure. When I saw in the paper that they said the turnout last year was like 60 or 65%, and that was good, I was like, you guys got to be kidding me. That's the dumbest thing you could ever say. 90 would be good. 95 would be good. How was 60 good?
There are a lot of people that live on Fort Myers Beach who came here to be left alone.
Yeah.
And they don't want to be bothered.
It doesn't take much of an effort to go and vote, even if you're voting alphabetically.
True enough. Agreed.
All right, Charlie Whitehead, everybody. Big hand from the crowd.
Thank you, Ed.
Very
I'm
nice.
headed for
Look
the
at you,
field,
big
man.
fan. All right, good luck today. Very nice. Charlie is he's an umpire down at the Little League. I didn't know that until today.
Well, have a good day. He is one tall dude.
Yes, that is not an umpire you want to argue with, dear. So I see you were over there chatting it up over there.
I
You
was
sold a T-shirt.
I sold a T-shirt to our new friends from New Jersey.
Jersey! They're from New Jersey! Nice.
And I got some people set up on the Facebook to watch.
They are Mayor Christie fans or Governor Christie fans over there? Probably
not.
not.
I don't get into politics like you do right off the bat. I'd like to say hello, sell some T-shirts.
Nice. Did you sell the hat? I saw them trying the hat on.
No, they have too many hats. But the T-shirt, the tank top was a winner.
Nice. So Charlie was awesome. He didn't put his neck out on the line with a prediction.
Did he?
So
I didn't
talked
hear.
about, he was a reporter here for many years, and he actually, I didn't know this until I read it in the paper, the Island Sand paper, not the Island Toilet paper, that he runs the Fort Myers Beach area, or the Fort Myers Area Civic Association.
Wow.
So they talk about issues, and our friend John Gucciardi was at the last meeting, and they were talking about the PAC, the mailer that went out, that people were a little bit, what is your opinion on that, wife, the mailer? You saw the mailer. It was very negative on Dennis.
Yeah, I'm not. I agree that it could have a different effect than the intended effect. It's not my favorite thing.
So you're not a fan of negative
advertising?
advertising?
I'm not a fan of negative advertising, no.
Okay.
I think you have some friends here.
Hi. Have a seat. Make yourself at home. Anywhere. All the seats are open. Yes. They're from my high school, dear. They're visiting from...
okay.
Yes.
Yes. I do remember you say... I thought you were having high school kids with the pageant thing going on.
No.
Sorry.
Pageant thing going on. No, they're from Long Island.
Wow.
But they live in Florida, and they're just visiting, so they wanted to come down and meet you, actually. They wanted to meet the star of the show.
Yeah, right.
So, listen, I have to tell people that for some reason now, I'm totally addicted to podcasts. And there's this podcast called, you have to check this out, people. It's called Crime Town. Mm-hmm. And it's such a highly produced podcast. It's like binge watching on Netflix, which is all we do.
But you're listening.
But you're binge listening. And the first series was on Providence, the city of Providence, and how corrupt Providence was.
Providence, Rhode Island?
Yes, I didn't know that about Mayor Cianci.
It's so
and
tiny.
Yes, about the organized. It was apparently, other than New York City, it was like one of the biggest organized crime cities in the country.
Who
knew that?
I didn't know.
So that was fascinating. And the second season is on Detroit, which is...
Now that probably more people would venture a guess that there's a lot going on there.
Yeah. The mayor, they're interviewing the mayor from jail, and they're talking about it's a big race city, and of course it went bankrupt and all that. So that is, I don't even know why I wanted to mention that, but I did want to mention that because I'm running today and I'm listening episode after episode, which I hope people do with our show, but probably they have no idea to binge listen to any of our episodes. So I did want to mention that. I also wanted to mention that Leon Moyer has he had his appeal about the library. He was banned from the library for a year.
Oof.
So he appealed it last week, and they lifted his ban. So he must have agreed to be nice, a little nicer, because he was apparently giving people some grief at the library. So I did want to mention that they lifted his appeal. So Leon, who's no longer allowed on the show because he's been banned from the show because he said some things at the council meeting about Mr. Hommerding that were just nasty. You're going to stay out of that whole thing, right? You just want to be Switzerland today.
If he appeals to you, though, would you consider?
If he appeals to me?
Mm-hmm.
No, if he appeals to you.
On the show.
If he apologizes to you.
Listen, I've done my apology tour more than once.
The other thing, why am I bringing up all the topics? You're not participating in the show at all this week, and it's really pissing me off. Get involved, for crying out loud. Otherwise, you're just going to be selling cigars and cigarettes to everybody
Listen.
with your little,
Nobody's
cigars,
smoking.
cigarettes. You don't get it.
I do get it. It's just so old. You're
Last
really
weekend,
showing
we
your
went
age.
to the High Rollin' on the Beach event. Now, I thought we were going to the women's club and going inside, and so it'll be a quaint little thing because the women's club isn't gigantic. It's inside is kind of small. But when we got there was just like this Ringling Brothers tent they had set up outside. It was
nice
gigantic.
tent. That was a fun event. It was windy. Do you remember? I remember I spent all this time getting all gussied up, doing my hair, and then we got down here, and it was super, super windy, and I had to put my hair up in a ponytail.
I don't remember it being windy. We were under a tent.
No, I don't. I mean, before we got there, we stopped off at Junkanoo.
We were hoping to see Dennis at Junkanoo, but he wasn't there.
No, but they had. It was fine. But the wind was ridiculous.
It was windy there, yeah. So we got to the event, and it was huge. I mean, all the
huge.
players were there. I mean, it was good for the show because we got to hobnob with all the players. And I didn't, what?
I thought I was going to do so good at the poker. I was out
Wait,
in
before you
like
get to that,
2 minutes.
Yeah, before you get to that, like Lalo was sitting there like he thinks he's like some kind of
He is.
drug kingpin or
No, he's
gambling. He's just sitting
he
there.
is
he's
a high
He knows
roller.
how to flip the chips, like mix the chips with one hand and stuff. And you know, the first hand you guys played against each other, he threw you completely under the table, totally bluffed you.
Listen.
What do you have, like a 2 and a 4?
I really needed a little more time to. You get right in, and then it's boom. You're right in the blinds.
You need a
and
couple
then you
practice
lose.
rounds? Is that what you mean?
No, but I don't want to sit and be right in the big blind and then the little blind, and because there goes all your money.
I have no idea what you're talking about with the blinds and this and that.
But it was fun. There was a lot of people there from the Fort Myers Beach Elementary School. We had a lot of fun.
That's right. The teachers, when you get them out of the school, really cool. Not that they're not cool in school, but you have to be, teachers
they're
in
very
school.
nice.
But
Very
they were
nice.
very nice, and they were very fun to hang out with. And Roger Hernstadt was there, and all the candidates were there, kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah, all the people running for office were there. Dennis
Right.
wasn't there. He probably had a prior engagement. So, but I wonder how much money they raised. Have you heard? When you were mingling
didn't
around with the
hear.
crowd
No,
today,
I
did you
didn't.
ask anybody how much
No.
money they raised?
Well, I didn't see anybody from the beach school.
So what was the deal, though? I mean, I wasn't even really paying attention because I had a splitting migraine. So I was kind of sitting in the corner.
Stick in the mud.
And so, did you actually get a chance to win money? Was it an illegal gambling ring or something?
No. It was fun money or.
All right. So
It
what's the
was fake
fun
money.
with fake money? I mean,
Well, you're playing, and then it's all to raise money for the school. I think it's bragging rights. I don't know if because I didn't win, I have no idea what the outcome of
how did they
winning
give
would
away
be.
all the prizes? Is that what it
Well,
was?
I think that was the silent auction, and I really should have used my tickets for that instead of exchanging it in for.
What did they have some big prizes too?
I believe that they did.
You weren't even paying attention to the prizes.
Well, because I was so focused on I'm going to win big at the poker table because I play so much online, but nope.
They had all the like that spinning wheel there, whatever that's called. Whatever
They had
the
craps.
Spinning, what's that?
Roulette.
Roulette, and then the
Craps,
yeah,
blackjack.
and they had a dance floor. I
had
bet
a
you that
dance
place
floor.
got a little crazy later on.
Yeah, we left early.
Yeah.
You had your migraine, so we had to go.
Yeah. Well, it was a long day. We did a show, and then we
It
got
was a
stuck
long
in
day.
traffic, both going back and coming. Maybe we should just move on the beach so we don't have to deal with the traffic.
Oh, yeah, just let me because I have to go off to work.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun last weekend.
It was a lot of fun.
What-
Getting
what-
busy.
Yeah. So what was your week like, dear?
My week was busy.
Did you get any exercise in?
I got a lot of exercise in because I'm painting the room.
Oh, here we go.
You're not helping me at all. I cleaned the garage and the attic. You helped a little bit with that.
I
but
got
up
so
and down
yelled
that
at.
ladder, yes.
I got so yelled at last week because I came back to the beach to hang out with Lenny because I like to hang out with Lenny because he's old and he needs a companion on Sundays. And we're trying to write a book, hopefully, later on about some special things. I can't talk to you about it. But anyway, so I come down on Sunday, and then I wanted to go see Gene because I hadn't seen Gene in a while. And then you start yelling at me
I didn't
to get
yell.
home.
I called at you and I
well,
said I would appreciate
guys,
it if
you
you
know-
had been home by now to help
when you
me
throw-
with the garage.
When you throw that, I could appreciate it if you were home. It's basically yelling, but
I'm
it's
up
with
and
that.
down in the attic with that broken ladder that you don't fix.
Well, listen, the only reason you give two craps about the attic and the garage right now is because your mom is coming down.
Yep.
It wouldn't
Can't
matter
wait.
2 bones of beans if your mom wasn't coming down. So it's
getting
3
the room
weeks
all
of hell.
prepared for her.
3
She's
weeks
coming
of
down
hell.
for 2 weeks, and you invited her. It
I
was
did.
your idea.
I like to invite your mom down, but I don't like to. That's why we don't invite people to the house. Like, if we invite people to the house, you freak out because the house has to be cleaned and the house has to be scrubbed and painted and everything needs to be. The lawn needs to be redone. It's like, forget it. Just forget it. We don't.
Hey.
I don't need to be cleaning and doing the lawn all the time. I need to be down
What
here.
are you doing with your time?
I need to be down here relaxing with Lenny.
Oh, my Lord.
So, is everything ready yet? Because that room is going to be my office when she's out.
Then you should be helping me paint it.
Oh, there's not going to be any of that. That's what we pay people to do.
Yeah, right. Nobody's going to come and paint one room. They want to paint the whole house.
Dear, people will take money no matter what. If
They'll
somebody
take
needs
money, they might not do the work. But
so
that's
you think
funny.
you're a painter, and we had this argument last Sunday, I think, or Saturday, or maybe it was even on the show, I don't remember, about your paint job in the bathroom. You do a half-ass paint job, and then you leave the paint tape on the
No, that's
thing,
because
and then you leave the
it was the wrong color. I got the wrong color, so I'm leaving it taped so that I can put
Okay,
the
how
right
long is the
color
tape
on.
been there now?
Well, now I have to do the bedroom.
How
so
long has the tape been in the bathroom?
Maybe a couple weeks.
6, maybe 7?
No.
Yeah, 7. Yeah. Okay, so the tapes, not only the tape has been on the thing, but you don't put the plates back on the light switches either.
What do you care?
I don't really care. I'm just saying.
Then why are you bringing it up to be negative on
Are you
me?
going to leave all the paint and tape and the plates
Yes.
off in the bedroom too when your
Yes.
mother gets here?
Yes, I'm
You're
gonna
so
make
afraid.
her do it.
She's so afraid her mother's going to criticize her. That's what the thing is. Everything's
I
got to
wa-
be perfect.
Did you see that room before? Jillian had it painted pink.
Yeah.
There was brown paint, pink paint, and white paint.
So you're bringing your mom to the shrimp festival, or is she going to
She
be on
is
the show?
so excited. I'm
Right.
sure she might. I don't know. That's never worked out for you two before.
No, we're closer now. We bond a lot more now.
You don't know any boundaries.
So we're going to do our regular show. Kevin Ruane has announced he's running for the county commission, which, if you look back on things now, that's pretty smart because Representative Manning is retiring, and Kevin's really been out there pushing the clean water stuff.
Yep.
He is
He
way
knows
out there.
his stuff.
Does that dude have a job? I mean, what does he do? He
I
seems
think
like he's always doing something with the water, like his full-time job is fixing the water.
Well, you had him on, and I don't remember what his
He does-
employment history was.
He can't be
but-
old enough to be retired, right?
No, but maybe he did really well, and so he's retired early.
Right, okay.
He
so
seems like a pretty smart guy.
So we're going to have him on at 9:30. Now, I don't want you to get you and your mom get your shorts in an uproar or get all excited or anything, but we're trying to get the Cincinnati Firemen on at 9 o'clock because they raise money for the Shriners.
That's fantastic. Just say that they're coming on, and I think that's great. You don't have to
Can you imagine-
have your misogynistic comments about don't get yourself all...
Well, I know how old you guys get when you got around
Oh,
some
my
guys
Lord.
with some six-packs.
What? You know what? The 1940s are calling you
What
back.
the hell does that have to do with anything?
Because people are... It's such an old...
Okay, if your
Sexist
mom is
comment.
listening and she hears that the firemen are going to be on the show where she's co-hosting, she's going to be a little bit more excited about it than
Listen,
sitting next to me.
I love you said the Shriners, right?
Yeah,
They give so many wheelchairs
Right.
to a lot of the kids that I work with. They do a lot of stuff. So I love their hats.
I have no idea what that means.
Yeah,
what
the
do
Shriners
hats look like?
they have Shriner hats. I'm sure they can explain it when they come down.
Okay, well,
it's specific
we're working
to
on
that group.
But on Thursday and Friday, I'm going to be in Orlando at a podcasting festival. You want to be around young people that are excited about audio and radio. It's at a podcasting convention.
What are they going to do with an old fart like you?
I know. I got some bright yellow shirts and yeah.
I'm so glad I'm not going.
I got
then.
one for you, you turd, and
I
then
know,
you
I
decided
really
you were
wanted
going to
to
back
go.
out at the
I
last
know.
minute.
I have to
So
work.
then we're going to do our show here at 9 o'clock, and then we're going to be down at the Sea Gypsy to watch the parade.
Okay.
I'm surprised that they haven't asked you to be the Grand Marshal of the parade yet. What is the problem? How come?
Grand Marshal, it's the Queen. It's the Shrimp Festival Queen that leads
Did you
parade.
know that? Did you see the mayor walk by? We almost got her on the show when she walked by.
Dear,
She
is busy with those girls, making sure that they know how to walk and have a good time and enjoying the beach.
You know what she did say? She said, your sign's past the red line here. Move it in.
No, she
didn't.
not.
She was like, what the hell is Beach Talk Radio?
She didn't look at. She didn't even. It wasn't even
totally,
a blip.
Yeah, she's totally puzzled that we were sitting here. Like she
was
had no
not,
idea.
Dear, she's working.
She had no
with
idea.
Those girls.
All right, so make a prediction. Not about the election. Who's going to be the next mayor?
Ugh.
You got
I don't-
Joanne is the vice mayor right now. There's going to be a push for Anita. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm not. Come
on,
nope. I said something
You're such
last
a sissy.
week.
You don't ever want to get out on the limb
I
anymore.
said something last
We've
week.
lost
and you
our
said nothing.
edge now that we're friends with all these people.
Who do you think?
Anita. Anita's going to be the mayor. I know somebody's going to nominate her, and then they're going to be a push for her.
She's been mayor before.
Yeah, I know there's a lot more work involved in being the mayor than just a town council member. So I guess it would depend on whether somebody. I'm sure they're going to work in the back room, the cigar-filled rooms. Did you know Anita smoked cigars?
Oh,
I made that
stop.
up. I'm kidding.
Spreading rumors. All right.
I think we've. We're 1
What
minute
else do-
over.
what
Anything
else
else
do
you want to
have?
bring up before we rock and roll?
No, I'm going to start taking notes for next week, so you don't have to have.
I
a
know
fit.
you were really. You really didn't bring your A game today. Why?
I brought my A.
You
game.
didn't. Did you have all your questions
You
ready
did.
for your guests?
Yes, I did. You had 9,000 ums and ahs. You lost your train of thought.
I
while
never
you-
lost my train
you
of thought
did.
today. It's called old
did.
age.
You did.
I didn't lose my
So
train of thought.
You bring your A game next week.
You are listening to the Florida Podcast Network, wife, the voice of Florida. We are now the voice of Florida, not just Fort Myers Beach, the voice of Florida. Can you imagine that? Florida
today,
Podcast Network is committed to promoting you while they promote Florida. If you're interested in elevating your Florida brand and becoming part of the voice of Florida, head to floridapodcastnetwork.com/partner for more information or to download a media kit. That means if you want to be an advertiser on the Florida Podcast
What about
Network.
being an advertiser on our show?
What about it? You were supposed to make some sales calls, and you never did.
You
had a
said-
day off last week. Was President's Day. Where for some reason, the kids
that's
get
right.
President's Day off, and you were going to go make sales calls, and you didn't.
You said it's too busy this time of year. It's too busy not to bother the store owners.
No, on the weekends. You can't go down on a Saturday or Sunday. I don't think anybody would buy a single ad from us. There's no reason for anybody to buy an ad from us.
Yes, well, I will do a nice presentation.
Go ahead,
and
practice.
Advertisement.
Like if you were going to read an ad, go ahead. Let's see. You could test it. This would be like a spec spot on the radio. Go ahead.
So everybody, come on down to Pete's Time Out, where the coffee is hot and the drinks are cold. The waitresses are fast and the food is fantastic.
Wow. That was like an ad lib thing. Yeah. Don't drop that. That was
I'm not gonna drop
$120.
it.
So drop that microphone. Yeah. So it's $360.
Please come advertise because he is spending all our money. You know what? I'm going to stop doing direct deposit to our account.
Don't do that. How can I pay for
I
all
have.
this swag?
You can just send me a bill for what I owe for the house, and that's it.
All righty, everybody. We'd love to stay and chat with you longer, but we need to give up the table because there's a line at Pete's
Yes.
Time Out. So we will chat with you on Tuesday for sure, if not on our show here, but
Oh.
on the Facebook, because we want to definitely post the results from
Yeah,
Tuesday.
that's going to be very interesting.
We've been invited to at least one of the celebrations.
I know.
It's
you
a long
probably
drive.
can't make it.
It's a long drive.
Well, you
See, I
go
went to bed
at 7 o'clock.
Last night I went to bed at 6:30 to try and get
ridiculous.
everything
I'm
organized,
living,
like
you
make sure
know.
I remember my shirt and get everything in the truck. But I got up at 11:30 and then I started to read, and then I couldn't go back to bed, so I just went to the gym.
Okay. No one cares about
all right.
your circadian.
Nobody cares about
No,
our personal
no,
problems. All right, everybody. See you. Thanks for joining us, and we will be back in 1 week, and she's going to dance it out. And we will, whatever we're going to do, and so whatever.